It's been 4 years since Giannis and the Bucks won the championship, and their team this year looks a lot different from back then. But with Dame having a full season under his belt with the team, can the Bucks take back the East? I want to start off by talking about Giannis, who has not played a lot of playoff games recently. I mean, last year, straight up. I mean, no, not even last year. Look, 2 years ago. Last year, he missed it completely. 2 years ago, he played 3. 3 years ago, he played 12, and then when he won the ring in 2021, he played 21 games, coincidentally. So, I mean, look at that. 30, almost 13 and 5. Like, that's nuts. Then 30, almost 32, 14. Like, so Giannis struggles with health in the playoffs. And that's, I don't want to call it Kawhi syndrome, being a Clippers fan, but it's kind of what it is, where it's like, hey, you'll play a decent amount of regular season games. I mean, look at this, 75, 72, 60s. 60s isn't bad. I mean, the NBA requirement for any accolades now is 65. So he would have gotten that here and there. Played 73 games last year. Pretty good. All-star since 2017. But then it comes to the playoffs, and he's just literally non-existent. Last year, non-existent. Didn't play. Was injured. So I think a healthy Giannis is a beast. Like, you could say the beast of the East. That's what I think. He's easily the best player in the Eastern Conference right now. And Giannis is a superstar. Now, I haven't really explained this much in any other video. I might make a whole video on it, like a mini one, just to explain my take on it. But a superstar is someone who has won an accolade, like an individual accolade. Now, Jason Tatum, not a superstar in my opinion yet, because he didn't get that Finals MVP. Like, you can't show me he's a superstar. He wasn't definitively the best player on a championship team because it was Jaylen Brown in the Eastern Conference and in the Finals. He won Eastern Conference MVP and Finals MVP. So how can JT be a superstar? He can't. Now, guys who win MVPs. I'm talking MVP and Finals MVP. That's basically what I'm talking about in terms of superstar. So guys who aren't superstars yet, and Wemby, Luka is like, he's very close. Luka is like the top guy with like Shea. They're right there. But guys who are superstars, Jokic, Embiid, Giannis, who have proven that they can get something done, and so it just takes time with some other guys, but Giannis is a bona fide superstar. A healthy Giannis is one of the most terrifying players you will ever face in NBA basketball. Like, in the history of the league, you do not want to match up with this dude. And as of right now, Giannis, I mean, this isn't like the end-all be-all, but I like the ringer. So right here, the ringer's got Jokic, then Luka at number 2 is really interesting, but Giannis number 3. So Giannis, they deem him as a generational force of nature who can't be denied, deterred, or in some matchups even challenged. 100%. I mean, but Giannis here, one-time champion, 2-time MVP, back-to-back MVP, 8-time All-NBA, and they don't bring it, I don't know why that's not here, but DPOY. So how many guys do that nowadays? How many guys can do that? It's kind of impressive. Now just talking a little bit of discourse about Giannis. Like, can he win the MVP this season? Probably not. I mean, I did a poll for the channel. You guys voted and stuff. And it was basically between Shea and Luka. It was like 45% him, 45% him. It was tied. And then everyone else was like, Jokic. Giannis got like 1 vote, right? So I don't think he can be an overwhelming vote unless he comes out and, I mean, he's shown us he's done it twice. And Luka and Shea haven't done it, but I think Luka and Shea are kind of up here. And Giannis is definitely on the rise up, but he's kind of hit that already, and he's just kind of doing this now, right? It's kind of plateauing a little bit. So will that lead to this season? I mean, hopefully not. I really like watching Giannis. I used to be a big Giannis hater. If you guys watch the channel for a long time, you know that. Now I love Giannis. He's only 29, playing in season 11, so he's a freak, man. Like, he if he's healthy, he can do a lot of stuff. I would like to see him win and succeed, especially him challenging the Celtics, because the Celtics just kind of waltzed through the East. No discredit to them. They bodied everyone they played against. It was not even close. But it would be so much fun to watch a team challenge the Celtics. It's not going to be the Knicks, probably. It's not going to be the Sixers. I think it's going to be the Bucks. So talking about the Bucks and how I think that they can fare in the Eastern Conference, what does their roster look like? I don't know, a lot of people are saying Gary Trent Jr. is like one of the underrated pickups it's one of the most underrated pickups of the offseason. They got Dame, who they acquired last year, who we'll talk about that in a sec. Gary Trent Jr., pretty good, kind of like feels like that shooter, that 2-guard role. They've had like Malik Beasley in the past, kind of like that. Chris Middleton, I mean, we'll talk about him right after this. But Giannis, Brook Lopez, love Brook Lopez. Big Brook, man, he's such a good player. DeLon Wright, Middleton, Taurean Prince, Bobby Portis is one of the best bench players in the league. Then it kind of falls out after that. I mean, I like AJ Green. I really like Marjon Beauchamp, but you can see that this isn't like guaranteed from the Bucks. Like, we're saying that this is the Bucks lineup and stuff, but it just gives you a little bit of a preface of what they picked up Taurean Prince. They picked up Taurean Prince, which is really interesting. I like that a lot. They're coming out the bench, the small forward. So if Chris Middleton can be healthy, I think that they could be a really, really good team, as they have been in the past. I mean, when Chris Middleton's healthy, he's a baller. And we'll talk about this after, but Dame Lillard and Giannis, they have a chance to be a lot better. But how can Chris Middleton affect this team? So not looking great. I mean, past 2 years, he's played 88 games. And some of those he came off the bench, I guess, right here. I just want to see it. But 15 points, he basically has averaged the exact same stats the past 2 years, but just hasn't played. And in the playoffs, hasn't played either. So that's why the Bucks haven't been that lethal. But I mean, go back to 2021 when they won, played 68 games, pretty good. But I'm telling you, it's the health in the playoffs. He was able to play 23 games, average almost 24, 7 and 5, 8 and 5 basically. On how good does he shoot? I mean, 34% on almost 8 attempts. It's pretty good. And he was his second best player. So now if you bring that up, maybe you give him, he gets about maybe 20 and 6 and 5 with Dame on the team. This team could be nuts, especially with Giannis coming back for vengeance. I mean, I'm so glad my favorite team's not in the East, because I do not want to match up against Giannis Antetokounmpo in the playoffs. Not sound like a fun time if he's healthy. We all know what he's capable of. He just needs to be able to be there to show it. I don't know. I think he had like double foot surgery or something like that. Prayers out to that guy. Hopefully he can return and be healthy. I just want to see everyone healthy, man. If he can come back, he's a baller. He's a straight shooter. He plays good defense. He's a vet. I like watching Chris Middleton. He's just easy to watch. Plays good. Have Dame and Giannis come in and then have these guys a third option. That's a good squad right there, man. Already, even when you got Brook, that's a squad that can go against a lot of teams. So hopefully he stays healthy, and we'll see it. But how does Damian Lillard affect Giannis, and how can he make the Bucks a better team? Just looking at it last year, 73 games. Only missed 9 games. Not bad. 24, 4 and 7. Not bad. I mean, 35% from 3, 8, 9 attempts a game. Not great. Volume was kind of there, shot up. I mean, you look right here, he's averaged around 10 and 11 threes a game in his career. So definitely was an off year for him shooting-wise. He got his 8th All-Star appearance in Milwaukee, so that's kind of cool. They locked in the 3rd seed. He looked really good from what I saw. I mean, the Bucks did good in the in-season tournament. They kind of steamrolled a ton of people, and then they ended up losing to the Pacers, and that's when, Tyrese hit the little Dame time in front of him. That was kind of crazy, but I like the fit with Dame and Giannis, and I'm looking at this first season with Dame and Giannis more in terms of, like, remember when Luka and Kyrie got traded midseason? Luka and Kyrie, 2 ball handlers, blah, 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 blah. Now, you're not going to really have that with Dame and Giannis because they're not like 2 ball handlers, but Giannis is a superstar who needs the ball sometimes. So I think that they did their best. I mean, they got the 3rd seed trying to figure it out in their first year together. And this year, maybe some pick a roll, pick a pop action, maybe some spacing is a lot better. It's going to be really interesting with Dame and Giannis. I really think that this year they could be a lot better of a dynamic duo than they were last year. It could be a real threat to the Celtics. I've been saying this. I think the Celtics are going to repeat. I think that's just how it's going to be. The Bucks can give them a really good run for the money. If Dame can do this and Chris can stay healthy, the Bucks have a good team. So, competition. I've been bringing up the Celtics a lot. Obviously, they're worse than the Celtics. I wouldn't say it's not really worse, but the Celtics are just better than them, right? And another team that's close is, I don't want to talk about Philly. I think that the Bucks are better than Philly just because they have Giannis, and Giannis has done it before. I mean, you can just say that, right? But the Knicks have a very well-constructed team. I think I would still take the Bucks in the playoffs over the Knicks just because of experience. Giannis has done it. If he's healthy, he can do it. I mean, I think they could steal the 2nd seed in the East, maybe the 3rd. If they get home court advantage over the Knicks, if they get the 1st or 2nd seed, I don't know. I think the seeding's up for grabs because when you talk about repeat champions, the Celtics last year won 64 games. This year, I don't know if they're going to win that many games again. We've seen the Warriors win 58 games when they had KD, and it's they just got it wasn't that crazy, right? So I think it depends on how the Knicks play, but the Bucks they will be a top 3 seeded team in the East, no doubt, 100%. So that makes them contenders. I think they can really go far in the Eastern Conference. And if we get a healthy Giannis versus a healthy Celtics matchup, oh boy, is that going to be so much fun to watch. I don't know how that's going to go. It's going to be really rough because Giannis has that grit. But the Celtics have just done, they did it last year. So can they do it again? That's my pick. But man, it's going to be fun. But like I said, man, I mean, having a prime Giannis on your team is just 10 out of 10 times you're contenders. Like, it's not even a question with prime Giannis. So that's all I got for today. We got a lot of videos coming out this week. I'm trying to crush this before the season starts next Tuesday, bro. So that's all I got for today. We out.